Hello there ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Risk and I'm here today to do a basic tutorial about Lua. The page you see here is the MTA wiki. You can find it at mtasa.com, click on wiki and you'll arrive here. Now, I've essentially decided here that I'm going to be doing just some basic Lua. I'm not going to get into anything too complex and we're going to take things in baby steps. I'll be sure to explain things as well. I have my client open, I also have my server open, and I also have Notepad++. If you haven't already, and if you plan on doing some scripting, download Notepad++. It is really important that you do because it makes things a lot easier. It is a lot better than Notepad when it comes to editing programs. It has syntax highlighting and a bunch of other very helpful features that can make things infinitely easier and reduce the amount of time you spend writing code. So, if you haven't already, download it. And again, if you also haven't set up your server, I've got some videos on that. So, yeah, you can find them on my channel there related to the MTA series that this video belongs to. Okay. Now, with Lua is used in Gary's mod, it's used in Just Cause 2 multiplayer. It also works on a standalone interpreter. To put it this way here, Lua's pretty common, but it's not quite as common as, say, C++ or Java. So, yeah, let's get into it. The first thing you'll need to make is the meta file. Now, to make a resource work, you'll need to create a meta file. It doesn't need to be as complex as this one, but, you know, you may want to have a very big project, so in turn, your meta file may end up looking like this, but we're going to make a pretty simple one to start off with. Alright, now this here is the root of our MTSA server. I'll click on server, mods, deathmatch, resources, and dev. This is the folder where we're going to be putting our project files. Okay, now that we're in Notepad++, I'm going to click on File, New, and I'm going to create a meta file. So what I'm going to do is save as, computer, don't want to go to computer, we want to go to F, local disk, so just go F, and we're going to go MTA dev. I've got a shortcut, we'll click here, oh, piss, damn, sorry about that mistake. I'll just quickly save the file again, so go new, and we'll go save as. So we'll scroll down. MTA dev server, mods, deathmatch, resources, dev. Now what we'll do is we'll create a folder. Now I'm going to call it dev because this is a development project. Press enter. Now I'm going to select all file types since this is the easiest way of doing it. And I'm going to type in meta.xml. Okay, so the meta basically tells the server where all the script files are. Just Cause 2 and Gary's mod don't necessarily have a meta file. They have another way of reading scripts. I haven't really developed for those games, so you know it's not something I particularly know a lot about. So just call this dev C since we have our directory named dev. So yeah. Okay, so we'll just open it again. Okay. So, in this project, we're going to have just one server file. Now, with, you know, like, files on MTA, you'll have client and server-side files. Server, you know, Lua runs on, well, the server, and client runs on the client computer or the user's computer. We'll get more into that once we, you know, of course, get into some more scripting. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly create a text file, and I'm going to call it code, or I might call it server.lua. Okay, so we want to type in meta /meta. So we created the frame of the meta file. We tab just to indent it. Script src equals string server server.lua. Now, you see here we have the server.lua file, so we define that here under server.lua. Type equals string server. This will tell the MTA server that this is a server file and that we want to run it on the server. Now we do slash and done. So you see here that, you know, Notepad++ says this file is all okay, there's no missing parts as it says here, so yep, we can leave this and we can close it. There's nothing else we need to do to the meta.xml file. Now, go away. So okay, now that we have our server file, we'll just see if everything works on this server. So we're going to go debug script free, login, @in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've logged in, we'll refresh. This is important because it will detect the fact that we've created our resource dev.c. So start dev.c, and it started. Okay, so we're going to give the function output chat box a go. Now, output chat box works like this. You write in, you know, output chat box, you put a string of text, and that will sort of, you know, put that text on the chat box. So we'll just quickly write output chat box hello, well, world. It's pretty cliche, but it'll do. So we're gonna quickly refresh, just reload the files, and restart dev.c. And it says hello world. That's basically how you use output chatbox, and that's probably the first bit of Lua you've ever done. However, you know, I find that a little bit boring. Why don't we do something a little, little bit better, something a bit fun. Function dev add command handler talk, and we're gonna do dev. So we're gonna do peel off the player element and data for the data. Okay. Now what I've just done is I've created a function. This function is called dev. It will accept a player element and the data element. So yeah, it'll accept data. Now I'll just basically show you how this works. I'm just gonna really write it out. If player and data, then output chatbox to string, believe it's data, then we make it visible to the player only, else output chatbox error player. Okay. Now, this may not be particularly basic, but it's basic enough. I think people can really understand what this is. Now, like output chatbox, this is a function. It's called dev. Now, the two elements that you can pass into it are player and data. So I'll just quickly talk hero. Oh, damn it. So /talk hero. That's actually kind of strange. So yeah, if you have errors, you can just play around. Okay. Output chatbox is a little bit funny. Sorry about this. Talk I work. Yeah. So I'll just leave that. But anyways, here, with this little function, you can pretty much put in any word that you like. So if you want to talk and say, I like candy, that'll basically work. It'll read it until you put in another space, then it will take that up as a second argument. Okay, so to explain how this works is, again, it's called dev. Now what it will do is it will check to see if if there's a player element, and it will check to see if there's a data element. Then it'll use the output chat box function to toString the data element. Now the data coming in from the command handler is essentially text and needs to be converted to a string. This here defines it as, the player element. Now to separate these two, you need to have this little, I'm pretty sure it's a comma or something, yeah, it's a comma. And basically what they'll do is they'll separate the arguments. Now you see here what we've done is we've completed the required argument, the text string that we wanted to, of course, put into the chat, and we've made it visible to the player element, which is just, the player that types it in. That is just some very basic Lua. Now, the if and the then statements, right? If you put in false, this if statement will go to else. So, let's say you're just to type in talk. It comes up as an error. The reason being is because there is nothing in the data section which makes it false. If you make a function where it returns false, it will of course, move on to else. The add command handler works, a lot like output chat box. When you type in /talk, you see here that if this defines it, if you type in the word talk, /talk, it'll trigger the function dev. And, if you, to put it this way here, the player will be in, sort of like, like when the command handler will inject the value, the player, as well as any data that you, punch in. So, if you put in /talk, say, I don't know, data or biscuit or whatever, the word biscuit will be contained within this here. Now, it's a bit confusing because this little thing is a tad bit buggy, but yeah. Lua essentially works, by if-then statements. It's incredibly fussy about capitalization, and yeah, this is just a pretty basic demonstration of Lua. It's a tad bit crappy, but this is how you can make, resources in Lua, and you can use the MTA wiki to learn things and to acquire information to make very advanced and very complex things in Lua. You can also use the internet to gather more information. The purpose of this video is just to really lay out what you need to do. So, yeah, I'll just quickly wait for this to load because I just want to quickly show you guys the server scripting functions. You can also script graphical user interfaces and do debugging. Now, as you can see here, we have a very big list of server-side functions. Now, if you want to do things like, I don't know, maybe make someone's vehicle damage-proof, then you can look for vehicle functions, you can blow up the person's vehicle, you can create a vehicle, detach a trailer, fix vehicle, and do all kinds of things. So if you want to make a pay and spray, you're going to need to make use of the fix vehicle function, and so on. So yeah, this is just my basic video on Lua, and I'm going to do more and more complex things. And yeah, I do apologize for not making this video earlier. Real life responsibilities sort of do make things like this difficult, but yeah, I'll be sure to make quite a few videos down the line, and I might even bring you some C++ tutorials if I learn C++ to any degree where it's useful. So, again, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you have negative feedback, then put it down. If you've got ideas, then put them down. So, yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Have fun. That's all.